Hi guys, Victoria here. Welcome back. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And today you get to see Mirka's second stage of her core therapy treatment. So this is something you haven't seen before. It's called an Anmo Fu, a deep abdominal massage. This helps with lots of different issues, as I explain when I'm talking about it through the video. And watch to the end to see whether her muscle tests say that her body is better functioning and the nervous system is more connected and working better. So you'll see whether the Anmo Fu has worked for her or not and in what respect, and I explain everything as we go along. So please subscribe, like, comment, share, and watch next week when the therapy continues for a cranial balancing core therapy treatment. Okay, see you soon. So here we are continuing Mirka's beautiful core therapy treatment. The first thing I do in this particular edition is I'm checking with kinesiology, which means muscle testing while I'm testing her right leg. I'm testing various essential oils while she holds them on her ICV, which is the Ileo Caecal Valve. This is a way of working out whether her system, her body, can tolerate and in fact which essential oil would be the best one for her. I've selected 3 essential oils, which are cornmint, clove oil and cardamon, and all 3, as it happens, are very good systemically for the digestive system, and this is the area I am focusing on today. I did actually test quite a few oils, maybe 10-12 oils, including lavender, eucalyptus, black pepper, but in fact the 3 that came up, the 3 C's, all are very good for things like headache. They're very good for the digestive system and stress. They are particularly good for treating inflammation, so they're anti-inflammatory. Yes, for digestively, but also, as I call it, inflammation of the brain. This is when we have stress, we have neck tension, potentially headaches, sleep disruption. And so all of these oils, our body just knows which one is needed, and her strong muscle test revealed to me those particular 3 oils. A lovely mix. Again, not necessarily a mix I generally choose those particular 3 oils to put together, but they're beautiful in this occasion. So this is an Anmo Fu deep abdominal Chinese massage, which is part of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. And you can see here that I'm using my fingers at this stage. Sometimes I use my palm, sometimes my whole hand. And this is clearing away from the tummy button. And on this area where I am now, I'm just over the ICV, the Ileo Caecal Valve, and Mirka's finding that area a little sensitive, so I'm lightening my touch. I'm starting off quite gently anyway, but I invite her to raise her knees in order to take the pressure off her abdomen while I'm massaging it. So once I've cleared away from the tummy button outwards, I then clear underneath the ribs, so over the liver and over the stomach to the spleen. And now I'm overlapping thumbs in a reverse direction on the colon, but then once I've reversed it, I then use my whole hands to encourage movement and flow, the peristalsis movement, in the correct direction, like this. So at first, as you can see, it's overlapping fingers in the reverse direction. If you imagine a long pipe and imagine that pipe was blocked, filled with soil or whatever material, and if you wanted that long pipe to shift its soil, you wouldn't just push from one end. You try and agitate that soil first of all in order to break it up, to maybe move it back to an area where there was space, like ether, a void. And then you would encourage movement in the correct direction in order to encourage flow. So that's what that particular movement was doing. So you may notice that I'm doing a new movement now, which is generally in the direction of a clockwise manner, as you can see, but actually each of my smaller movements were anti-clockwise. Then a little bit of cupping of my hands, and now back to that very first technique again, which is clearing away all the way to the sides of the abdomen from the tummy button. So this is actually in 8 directions. So this is, if you like, north, south, east and west, and then I encourage the clearing of that energy in between the north, south, east, west, which makes sure that any congestion and ether and gases, any toxins will be encouraged to move. And once they're moving, i.e. not stuck in one area, then they will find their way out. They will find their way over to the lymph, to lymph nodes, which will encourage movement out through our waist system. And that will make us feel better. Once there is movement, as the Chinese call, we don't want stagnation in the body. So movement or flow, for instance, blood flow and abdominal flow, will always be a good thing. That's always what we want in our lives. That's why it's so good to practice yoga, tai chi, movement, stretching, Pilates, all of these lovely stretching, relaxing, movement, flow exercises. So again, I'm back to the technique to encourage the colon, which is found on the 2 sides of our abdomen and across the top. And now back to the clockwise direction, and yet my fingers are in a small way moving anti-clockwise. And this action, because I'm actually working quite deeply, just to agitate, shift, move, to encourage health and vitality. And what can happen after one of these treatments is people might feel quite different. They'll feel like they've had quite a profound, deep healing treatment. It can affect them that they need to visit the bathroom. They may feel very thirsty, that they want to encourage more waste disposal. And it can happen that sometimes, just like after any healing therapy, they may get a small headache because any toxins that may have been stagnated in the body, once they're moving, it can affect that headache kind of feeling, like a fuzzy, blocked feeling in the head. But most of the time, most people will feel amazing. they'll feel anew, like this has been ready and waiting for such a long time. This is right under the ribs here. I'm getting my tips of my fingers almost under that rib. And each time I repeat the series of techniques, which is actually a repeat of 3, and I'm on the 3rd of the series now, each time, again, it's like a listening massage. I'm listening with my hands to see how it feels compared to the first and second repeat. And every time I do this without fail, I notice that the abdomen, in fact the whole body, feels softer. There is softness introduced into the abdomen. Each of the organs feels better. I'm always sensitive to areas that feel tight, and in fact, instead of focusing on that area, I'll come away from it, work somewhere else, come back to it, see if it feels better. If not, come away from it again. And this softness in areas away from any tightness will always have an effect back to the tight area, the area of stagnation. Back to that lovely cupping. Again, all of these techniques is encouraging movement of any gases and airs, any waste, in order that we expel nicely and comfortably. So just using the tissue now, because I did actually introduce quite a lot of carrier oil, which was holding the essential oils, onto the abdomen, and that's on purpose in order to encourage a release of toxins through the skin from the abdomen into the oil. And that's why I endeavour to soak up all of that carrier oil, all of those toxins, and to put them away in the bin. And now I invite Mirka to lengthen again. I'm going to test her for the areas that weren't happy earlier. First of all, I'm going to ask her to take 3 deep breaths, and I'm just feeling into her Ileo Caecal Valve. First of all, I'm just sensing how it feels, whether it feels better than earlier, and it does. It feels much softer, although Mirka is quite sensitive here. There might be something going on where she might need more than one treatment on this area over the coming weeks. And once she's done 3 deep breaths, I then clear the ICV in the correct direction. And now I'm massaging that area, always talking to her, seeing how she feels, making sure that all is well. And now I'm educating her so that at home she can continue that kind of massage on her own. It's really important for us to take on board some homework, some independence with our bodies, and help ourselves in between treatments. And now I'm retesting the areas that weren't happy earlier. So that was the ICV, the liver, we're now doing the gallbladder. Up to the AP, the anxiety point. This is to do with her stress level. She's got quite a stressful job. That wasn't happy, that still failed, unfortunately. So I will be definitely working more with any anxiety. Now this is the stomach, and then onto the side with the spleen. And then over to the other valve called the Houston valve. And make sure she's holding in the correct place. And now to the Chinese point called a conception vessel, called Ren. That felt better. And now I'm just testing her kidneys. And finally, her adrenal glands. They all feel better. So I'm just letting her know now that a couple of them still weren't completely 100% happy. They're better than earlier. So that was the ICV, the AP, the anxiety point, and the Houston valve. I've shown Mirka how to massage them herself so that she can help herself. So please do join me next week to see Mirka's cranial balancing massage, all the techniques of core therapy. Thank you for subscribing. Please do like, comment, share. See you next week.